Welcome to TWOW 11A, which is the first episode number that takes 4 syllables to say. Okay, so most important things first. Last episode, I eliminated Fry UAJ, but Ping Pong Cup Shots actually got a lower raw score, but was pushed above due to the 5% boost. Now consider that in TWOW 3B, I posthumously gave Jacob the Person, Edtrin Gaming, and Marview 5% boosts for TWOW 2B, and was able to do this without pushing near-death survivors Tim638, OneKick234, and Wildcat into elimination. If we look at the TWOW 10 leaderboard, it would have looked like this without the boosts. So, I feel like eliminating Fry UAJ is being inconsistently unfair, so I'm bringing them back. That also means that John Dubuk, you were eliminated by 0.001514%, which is probably the closest TWOW elimination ever. If just one person had voted your response just one space higher, you'd still be in. But oh well, someone had to get the short end of the stick. Sorry. My new policy is that compensation boosts will be plus 3%, and they can bring people out of the danger zone, but they can't ever cause others to fall into the danger zone. But again, I hope I'll never have to do this again because I won't need to give out compensations. Anyway, since Fry UAJ is back, now we have 35 TWOWers living and thriving. Let's look at some data. Somebody, I forget who, wanted to know if every living TWOWer has been in the top 10 yet. In TWOW 7B, 34 of 74 TWOWers had. Well, by TWOW 11A, that's risen to 26 out of 35. But that's still far from everybody. This is all 35 living TWOWers' best ranks so far. And this is all 35 living TWOWers' number of occurrences in the top 10. I wanted to try something even more data-licious this time. So, every living TWOWer, except for Mr. Twister and Alex Lion 0511, has submitted 10 entries that have been scored with an average percentile. That's 10 data points. With these 10 data points, we can calculate the average and standard deviation, and use that to create a normal distribution curve, which should be a pretty good model for how well they've performed in the past. This is what you get when you overlap all 35 normal distribution curves. Now, if you believe that TWOWers' past performances indicate how well they'll do in the future, you can sort of predict how someone will do in, say, TWOW 11 by just picking a random point on this curve. Obviously, you're more likely to pick a point where the graph is higher, and less likely to pick a point where the graph is lower. Let's assume TWOWers' abilities don't change, and that no TWOWers will drop out by not responding. That means we can simulate the rest of this TWOW season with these random pickings. In fact, you could do that twice if you wanted to, or 10 times. And actually, I've done just that. I got my computer to simulate the rest of the season 10 million times, to see who the most likely winners were. And the results were pretty shocking. Before I reveal these results, remember that they're only true if you assume TWOWers' performances up until now closely reflect how well they'll do in the future, which probably isn't entirely true. Anyway, according to my computer, Tak Ajnan won 3,083,328 of my TWOW simulations. So, we can guess Tak Ajnan has over a 30% chance of winning all of TWOW, even though they're only 1 out of 35 contestants. That kinda makes sense though, because with Tak's high average percentile and low standard deviation, it is extremely rare for Tak to place in the bottom 20% for any future TWOW episode and be eliminated. But that means Tak has a better chance of winning than all of the bottom 29 TWOWers combined. And also, Tak has a better chance of winning than a contestant of a balanced Final Four. That seems really hard to believe. Here's some other interesting things to note. Compared to Mike Ramsey, Crafty7 has a better chance of hitting top 10, but has a worse chance of winning it all. How could that possibly be true? Well, Crafty7's got a super low standard deviation, which means that they're stable right in the middle. For surviving the beginning and middle of TWOW, this strategy is excellent, because all you have to do is avoid the bottom 20% each time and you're fine. But for the final episode of TWOW, you need to be the better of the two, so stability won't really help. Mike Ramsey's larger variability risks elimination, but it gives him at least a better chance of winning it all in the end, pushing him higher than Crafty7. Okay, I know. For all you TWOWers on this side of the list, with supposedly less than 0.1% chance of winning TWOW, this chart looks quite bleak for you. But remember, this chart is just a model based off of past observations. Instead, if we just look at TWOW from this point forward, we see we've got 35 TWOWers pretty much in a level playing field. So from that perspective, you all have a 1 out of 35, or 2.86%, chance of winning TWOW. Pretty interesting. Okay, onto the voting. The 1211 prompt was, why do insane commenters like to fashionably extinguish shiny cowards, but don't like to quietly consume hysterical cats? Which TWOWer responded to that prompt the best? Well, for the first time ever, every living TWOWer submitted an entry. That is, if you don't count AlexLion0511's YouTube response bug in TWOW 9A. So 35 TWOWers submitted 38 entries for you voters to vote on. Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once. You can vote up until April 30, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. In TWOW11B, I'll reveal the TWOW11 results. The top 3 will get a double response prize, and the bottom 7 will be eliminated. And I made sure there are no input errors this time. Okay, so now here are the TWOW11 entries. See you in TWOW11B. Let's do TWOW11B. I'll admit, the 11th TWOW prompt was a bit too wacky for my tastes, but that's because TWOWers wrote it, not me. By the way, if you think about it, no prompt is actually mathematically harder than any other prompt. Why? Because if it's harder for you, it's most likely harder for everyone else too. And since you only need to be in the top 80% to survive, it doesn't really matter if the prompt is confusing or really simple, you're still battling against the same other contestants. The prompt was, why do insane commenters like to fashionably extinguish shiny cowards, but don't like to quietly consume hysterical cats? Our 35 remaining contestants submitted 38 entries, which 363 voters cast 1,072 votes on. I know, you're like, what? Over 1,000 votes? What happened was, ComputerCat had this vote with 6 letters in it. They actually voted 564 times, each vote being a permutation of the 6 letters. So, a few things. First of all, yeah, sure ComputerCat, I'll count it. I mean, it's not any harder for me because my computer program does it automatically. Second, since your vote weight is spread out over all your votes, each vote here received a weight of only 1 over 564, which is tiny. And the net effect of them all was to ever so slightly raise the 6 responses mentioned and lower the 4 responses not mentioned. So you didn't really game the system, calculator feline. So who addressed the prompt the best? Since the prompt was so hard to approach, the top percentile was only 65.01%. Well, we've got a new victor this time, and it's Mr. Twister, who said, extinguishing cowards stops their screaming, but eating pets is catastrophic. Which is nice, because it addresses both sides of the prompt, and it includes a pun, which is like an unspoken 10% boost or something. 106 was actually the lowest number of votes received, which means all TWOW11 entries got a triple-digit number of votes. Thanks to ComputerCat, some entries got over 700 votes. Now you can see that Mr. Twister, Tak Ajnan, and the FewTech Hacker will be getting those scrumptious double response prizes that are deliciously lovely! Tak Ajnan, the FewTech Hacker, Corby King, and BeanMe100 all try to find some order in the chaos by using alliteration of words that begin with C's. Just like Mr. Twister, Riley used a pun, but Ringcrat02 beat them both with 3 puns in 1 sentence. Yasoan and XX both portrayed the commenters as firefighters who save the cats from dangerous places, again bringing both halves of the prompt together. And finally, the Mighty Midge used a rhyme to offer a reason why commenters are attracted to cowards and repulsed by cats. So that's the top 10. There are still 25 other TWOWers. Out of the 35 total contestants, the top 28 will stay in fashion, while the bottom 7 will be extinguished. Let's see who placed where. At this point, 19 TWOWers have been declared safe, but 16 have not. There's only 9 safe spots remaining. Did your favorite TWOWer make the cut? Let's find out. Goodbye to Quinn Ruddy, Dean Ed, Ni Hao Gai Lan, Stalemate, Pokemon Manic 3595, Kristen DeWeaver, and John Petrucci. Today was a particularly sad day, as we lost a batch of shiny, non-cowardly minds, including 2 former first-place winners. It devastates us to see you demoted from TWOWer to insane commenter. Farewell. Moving on, Ni Hao Gai Lan had the most controversial response, while Yasoan's first response was the least controversial. And Ni Hao Gai Lan, you almost gave away which response was yours in the comments on TWOW 11A, because there are only 2 responses that had fewer than 10 words. That was risky, but I guess you were eliminated anyway, so I can't ask you not to do that again. So, you know how I tried to predict who would win TWOW in the last video? Well, let's update it with the new data. Here are the normal distribution curves, and here is the probability chart. By placing at an impressive 2nd this time around, Tak Ashen gained another 14 points to now have a 44.70% chance of winning all of TWOW. Wait, are you saying Tak has a better chance of winning than the bottom 25 TWOWers? Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And I find it hard to believe too. Everyone's got at least a 4% chance of making it to the final 10, so good job to you guys.
To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts.
Let's dive right into TWOW 12, which is the highest number you can say with just 1 syllable. What's the prompt? Well, I want to try something with characters this time. So here's a story. Jade was climbing a tree in her backyard for fun. She began to feel lonely, so she went to Ruby's house to invite her to climb trees together. Ruby agreed and followed Jade back to Jade's backyard, but upon arriving, Jade instantly knew they would not be climbing trees together. Why? I've never tried a prompt like this before, but that's what TWOW's all about. It's a giant experiment. 28 remaining TWOWers? Submit your best responses that are 10 words or fewer to me, Carrie KH, by May 12, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. And Mr. Tweezer, Tak Asden, and the FewTech Hacker, you get to submit 2 responses to this prompt, and only the better one will count. See you in 1212A, where the voters will get to vote on these 28 TWOWers' amazing entries. Whoa! A new TWOW episode within 2 milliseconds of the submission period ending? 2 milliseconds? That's not even possible. Like I said, whoa! A new TWOW episode within 2 milliseconds of the submission period ending? So 6473575Y and Gary Cow Ely. Notice that I still hadn't fixed the lowercase z being yellow instead of red bug, when the z appeared as the second letter, not the first. Now, I didn't think I needed to fix this, because I didn't think any TWOWers had z's as second characters. But it turns out 3 do, and they all begin with IZ, Isaac Castro, Iselpox, and Izumi Yoshida. I wonder if there's a reason for that. Anyway, whoosh, all fixed. Second, I want to officially acknowledge this really cool spreadsheet by Sumner the Pie Guy. It's got tons of charts on all sorts of TWOW statistics, and all you viewers should go check it out and sign the guestbook page. My favorite stat that Sumner the Pie Guy is recording is the number of times I mention each TWOWer, because I was curious who the most talked about TWOWer is, and not surprisingly, that's Jumma. But Tak Ajnan is close on their tail, and I guess by just mentioning their names just now, I've changed the result. That's like the observer effect in quantum physics, isn't it? One thing though, I do think every TWOWer should have at least one more mention though, because I said every TWOWer's name in TWOW 1A. That took me 15 grueling minutes, so how could you just not acknowledge that? And Sumner the Pie Guy? Just to help you out a little bit, I'd just like to say that Sumner the Pie Guy, deep down inside, truly is Sumner the Pie Guy. On to the 12th TWOW prompt, which was, Jade was climbing a tree in her backyard for fun. She began to feel lonely, so she went to Ruby's house to invite her to climb trees together. Ruby agreed and followed Jade back to Jade's backyard, but upon arriving, Jade instantly knew they would not be climbing trees together. Why? 28 TWOWers were eligible to submit responses to this prompt. In a private message, Jumma told me that they're quitting TWOW, most likely due to cheating allegations. Well, it's definitely sad to see you go, but goodbye, you Power TWOWer. Your legacy will live on, because you really changed the face of TWOW, from the top down. Get it? I also didn't get a response from the previous first place winner, Mr. Twister. Although I know that previous YouTube PM bugs have prevented me from receiving your messages in the past. So, Mr. Twister, if this is a bug, and the message got all twisted up, please let me know ASAP Fab. ASAP Fab is as soon as possible for a book. That means there are 26 TWOWers who submitted 28 entries for you viewers to vote on. You're voting on how well they addressed the 12th TWOW prompt. Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once. You can vote up until May 14, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. For Tak Ajnan and the FewTech Hacker, only the higher voted response will count. The 3 best voted TWOWers will receive a double response prize for TWOW 13, and the 5 TWOWers with the lowest average percentiles will be eliminated and discriminated. Finally, here are the TWOW 12 entries. See you in TWOW 12B, which will feature something special from former TWOWer John Dubuck. Welcome to TWOW 12B, artwork graciously provided by John Dubuck. Isn't it wonderful? Now here's some interesting stats. TWOW 12B marks the 26th TWOW video, which is also the same number of BFDI Season 1 videos. Coolio. Also, I'm 7,000 days old today. Such a round number. Back to actual TWOW matters. I'm bringing Mr. Twister back after seeing evidence of their original PMs. By the way, these were Mr. Twister's responses, even though they won't be voted on. Sorry for all the inconveniences, MT. I'm hoping it won't happen again. Second, last time, I featured Sumner the Pie Guy's cool TWOW spreadsheet. I just checked up on it, and wow, you guys really contributed to the chat and suggestions page. Like, what's going on with this map? Why is there so much cancer? And how are there 3,000 rows of this? Is this artwork? And it looks like they've built some statues of TWOW gods. I guess XX Bombs Away XX, Sumner the Pie Guy, Green Tree, and Riley have been deified. You four can now cross that off your bucket list. I will admit, I was impressed by this musical notation of the TWOW elimination song that I found in the so-called image gallery. Although it's not really my music, the piece is Childhood Memories of Winter from musicforyourvids.co.uk. But let's get back on track. This is 1212B, and the 12th TWOW prompt was, Jade was climbing a tree in her backyard for fun. She began to feel lonely, so she went to Ruby's house to invite her to climb trees together. Ruby agreed and followed Jade back to Jade's backyard, but upon arriving, Jade instantly knew they would not be climbing trees together. Why? Not counting Mr. Twister, 26 TWOWers submitted 28 responses to that prompt. Out of those 26 TWOWers, the top 21 will survive and the bottom 5 will die. The top 3 will get a double response prize for TWOW 13. In the last episode, 417 voters cast 19,136 votes. Okay, I really shouldn't have brought attention to Computer Cat for submitting 564 votes last time, because this time, about a dozen voters cast over 100 votes each. You stupid little, shiny cowards. That's a new insult now, TWOW certified. You do remember that you don't get any additional voting power by doing that, right? I did think about removing votes that were exactly identical, but I was kinda lazy. And also, some people, like Computer Cat, submitted tons of ever so slightly different votes. Whatever, vote count is a near meaningless metric anyway. So which of the 26 TWOWers of TWOW 12 responded to the prompt the best? Before I answer that question, I want to point out that there are only 4 living TWOWers that haven't top 10'd yet. Greentree, Joseph Howard, Ian Eastone, and Jennings as yet untitled. And guess what? One of these underdogs actually won TWOW 12. They won with a percentile of 66.30%. Who was it? Well, it's Joseph Howard, who said, climbing was now illegal, according to the tree's executive branch. Congratulations, Joseph. You're our 12th round winner. In your response, Ruby and Jade seem to be law-abiding citizens. Good for them. Also, you used a pun, marking the 2nd episode in a row where a pun found its way to the top spot. I wonder how many of the top 10 used puns this time. Pun 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 pun. Thank you so much for being unique, the Mighty Midge. I liked your unexpected turn of events, but it looks like some other voters did not. Your response was the most controversial of all the TWOW 12 entries. The Futuk Hacker, you scored 2 major achievements this time around. First off, you're the first TWOWer ever to get both entries in the top 10. Secondly, that 3rd place percentile, 58.50%, is the lowest percentile ever to still award a prize. But the Futuk Hacker, your responses were a bit unoriginal. The root of the problem was a phrase shared with AlexLion0511, and replacing leave with leaf was a strategy shared by Crafty7. Though I have to say, Crafty7, you were the only one to use an actual species of tree in your response. Wait, family, not species. Sam Billinge? Good job on fitting 2 puns in one word, something SpicyMan33 was able to do in TWOW 5. Ping Pong Cup Shots? You made it seem like Ruby faints super easily, but I guess what do you expect when her composure isn't rock solid? And finally, we find 2 TWOW gods placing back to back. Riley, whose rhyme was astoundingly long, and Greentree, whose name would indicate they're perfect for this prompt. So this was technically only the top 9. Thank the Futek Hacker for that. But that means 17 TWOWers have not been declared safe yet, and only 12 safe spots remain. Which TWOWers will be able to reach for the next highest branch? And which ones will lose their footing on the very highest branch of Hyperion, the largest tree in the world, and fall over 100 meters to the 12 depths? Let's find out. Goodbye to Rinkrat02, Ian Eastone, Beamy100, former Baguetter That Commenter, and Flareon the Flareon. Over the last 24/12 videos, we've gotten to know you so well. That's why it's so hard for us to accept the fact that, like Jade or Ruby, who might not exist according to the Mighty Midge, you 5 TWOWers won't be able to climb any higher up the TWOW tree. Rest in peace. I updated the TWOW normal distribution curves again and got this. Due to placing at the second to last safe spot, Tak Ashnan lost 16 points to now have a 28% chance of winning TWOW. And for the first time, every person has a noticeable chance of winning TWOW, with Jennings as yet untitled finally registering with 0.01%.
To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts.
Okay, on to TWOW 13, which will be unlucky for about 4 of you. Remaining 22 TWOWers, the 13th TWOW prompt is, try to sound as intelligent as possible, while misspelling every word. There's a lot open for interpretation here. What does intelligent mean? What actually counts as misspelling a word? And so on. So have fun with it. Submit your responses via YouTube PM to me, KH, by May 20, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. Joseph Howard, Sam Billage, and the Futech Hacker, you get to submit 2 entries to this prompt, and only the better one will count. Voting on these responses will commence in TWOW 13A. See you then! Hey guys, let's do TWOW 13A. So first of all, I recently found out that someone created a 10 Words of Wisdom subreddit, but right now there's only one post. If you guys want to talk about anything TWOW related at any time, you can go over there and post stuff. I mean, we all know that the YouTube comments section is not the best, so hopefully a subreddit will be a bit better. Go subscribe! Secondly, we got another message from AN9K. This time, AN9K answered every TWOW prompt 10 times, which I must say takes a lot of devotion. Now, I know you complained that TWOW was biased in favor of native English speakers. That is true, but since I myself pretty much only speak English and maybe a little Chinese, I really couldn't do anything else. However, since Season 2 of TWOW is going to be much more automated, we might actually be able to have multiple seasons running at once, including seasons of different languages. That means there could even be a Japanese TWOW AN9K. Cool, right? Third, a bunch of you are wondering if TWOWers will finally be able to customize their books. That'll probably happen in TWOW 14, but I don't know, haven't we grown to love the way the books look now? Can Tak Ashnan be anything other than a purple and red book? Well actually, I guess I shouldn't be so afraid of change. So yeah, TWOW 14 is when that's happening. Fourth, someone wanted to know whose TWOW 12 response was the least controversial. I didn't mention it because I thought nobody would care. But I guess they do, so it was Flareon the Flareon's response, which also unfortunately got the lowest score. Rest in peace. Now, as you know, there are 22 living TWOWers left. That's about the number of BFDI contestants, and also about the number of original Baguette contestants, of which only Steve Minecraft 46 and Taupon H6427 are left. So, I just want to take some time to acknowledge all of you. I'm going to say each of your names and the first thing I associate with you. Previously, I had recorded longer responses for each of you, but the video ended up being over 8 minutes, so we gotta go fast. Anyway, let's go in alphabetical order. AlexLion0511, One-Time Zombie. Crafty7, Consistency Master. FryUAJ, Boost Murder Victim. Green Tree, Cannibalistic God. Jennings as yet untitled, Efficiency Champion. Joseph Howard, Polarizer. Mr. Twister, Two-Time Zombie. Midnight Light, Scandal Survivor. Mike Ramsey, Daredevil Baby. Ping Pong Cup Shots, Boostaholic. Corby King, Level-Headed Underdog. Riley, Dog Slicer. Sam Billinge, Inventor of Twigonometry. Sumner the Pie Guy, Sumner the Spreadsheet Guy. Spicyman33, the Leonardo DiCaprio of TWOW. Steve Minecraft 46, Immortal Piece of Baguette. Tak Ashnan, Front Runner. Taupon H6427, Parenthesizing Master. The Futech Hacker, Spotlight Hogger. The Mighty Midge, Leader of the Pun Resistance. XX XX, Trump Epicenter. And finally, Yasoan, Board Game Expert. Okay, can I just point out that 9 TWOWers start in the first half of the alphabet, and 13 start in the second half. You'd normally expect the beginning to have more, because it's got more common letters. This weird anomaly has been getting more and more extreme as TWOW's gone on, and I just don't know why. So, all 22 of these TWOWers submitted an entry to the 13th TWOW prompt, which was, try to sound as intelligent as possible while misspelling every word. Joseph Howard, Sam Billinge, and the FewTech Hacker submitted 2 entries each, of which only the better one will count. So you voters have 25 entries to vote on. Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once. You can vote up until May 25, 2016 at 10 PM UTC, but don't vote like Computer Cat or else you'll be the shiniest of the cowards. The 3 best voted TWOWers will get the double response prize for next time, and the 4 TWOWers with the lowest average percentiles will go bye-bye. Finally, here are the TWOW 13 entries. By the way, the spelling mistakes are not because of me. See you in TWOW 13B! Welcome again, TWOWers! This is TWOW 13B. Okay, so first of all, Chris Dothan started a TWOW chat. TWOW chat, twat. So yeah, he started a twat on Discord. You guys should go check it out, because 1, it's super easy to sign up and start conversing with other TWOW people. Like, I think about half of the living TWOWers have been on the twat at some point or another. And 2, I might be there a lot, so you can go ask me questions and I'll try to answer them. Go there right now and see who's currently online. Link, as always, is in the description. Second, I discovered this video series called TWOW Fan Central by former TWOWer Oprah Gives You a Flowey Meme in Your Face, who's now Emily Films. You should go show her some support too by clicking on the annotation. Third, there are some cool posts on the TWOW subreddit, including drawings of the final 22 TWOWers by Alex0511 and Sumner the Pie Guy. Although, the top one only has 15 upvotes. How about the first post to get 20 upvotes on the TWOW subreddit gets an automatic shoutout by me on TWOW? I wonder which one that'll be! Anyway, the 13th TWOW prompt was, try to sound as intelligent as possible, while misspelling every word. Now I know I had a typo in the last voting video, but since it affects everyone equally, I'm not going to do anything about it. So, our 22 remaining TWOWers submitted 25 entries to that prompt. How many votes were cast? Well, a lot of you guessed on the Discord chat, but you were all wrong. The answer is that 406 voters cast, what? Is that even right? 44,937 votes? Okay, so that's more than double last time, and that's more than 50 times what we usually get. And that also means that the average voter is technically a shiny coward. The 3 shiniest cowards, meaning the ones who cast the most votes, were Ultimate Vex Roblox with 2,220, former TWOWer BFDI Boyers for the win with 10,966, and Danny Paunov with 24,796. And you guys should really be ashamed of yourselves. But anyway, out of the 22 living TWOWers, the top 3 will get the double response prize, and the bottom 4 will be eliminated. Who won? Well, actually, I'm going to reveal the results in a completely different format this time. Going in the order of how well you placed in TWOW 12, I'll spotlight each TWOWer's TWOW 13 entry individually and show how well it did. Remember, top 3 get a prize and the bottom 4 die. Let's get started. Previous victor Joseph Howard is up first. He had a double response prize, but to simplify things, I'm just going to show his higher rated entry. It was, interference patterns emerging in the dual slit experiment demonstrate wave-particle duality. We've got every word misspelled, and we've got quantum mechanics in there too, which I guess is pretty intelligent sounding. How did it do? 58.46%. That's pretty good this late in the game, but how does that compare to everyone else? Sam Billinge's best response was, "The meaning of life, the universe, and everything is 42. We've got a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference right here. Did the voters get it? It looks like enough of them did to get Sam a score of 55.04%. Up next is the Futech Hacker, whose best response was, "Everybody knows the answer to 2 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 2? Well, that's not quite true, so you're not sounding too intelligent, but let's see how you did." Oof, 39.21%. Is that enough to guarantee your safety? Well, we'll have to see how the other TWOWers did to find out what your fate truly is. Up next is Crafty7, the highest placing TWOWer who didn't get the double response prize. They said, "Photosynthesis amazingly produces oxygen. I know goodly, I'm a plantologist." The prompt was to look dumb but sound intelligent, and I don't think goodly and plantologist sound intelligent at all. But anyway, let's see where the voters placed you. A healthy 54.43%. That should be enough for safety, but we don't know for sure yet. Next is AlexLion0511, who said, "Did you know mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell?" In fact, I did know that, and it's all I ever learned in school. Did voters like it though? 48.88% is mediocre. Don't know if that's guaranteed safe though. But with 4 people below him, Joseph Howard is guaranteed to continue into 1214. Congrats! By the way, the green region is where you need to land in order to be instantly declared safe. 6th is Ping Pong Cupshots, who said, "You're supposed to apply apostrophes to demonstrate a object's possession, but you didn't even follow that rule yourself. So hypocritical." Voters said, 49.50%. But on the bright side, Sam Billinge is also safe. The Mighty Midge had the shortest response. To be or not to be, that is the question. Isn't it nice how such a classic quote also happens to be exactly 10 words? Maybe Shakespeare actually wrote Romeo and Juliet as a submission for TWOW. With 54.81%, the Mighty Midge is the first contestant to immediately be declared safe. Next, Riley said, "Time is our only restraint, controlling us hour after hour." That is so deep, unbelievably deep. I also like how you just swapped hour and hour to misspell them, but it only got a so-so 52.85%. Better luck next time. Green Tree wrote, "To be self-aware, first acknowledge your spelling abilities. Source unknown." The source is you, dum-dum! And that's quite a specific requirement for self-awareness, don't you think? Whoa! Green Tree just topped Joseph Howard for the #1 response. Will Green Tree win it all? Let's see if our next contestant, Steve Minecraft46, can top that. He said, "People do evil things, yet are still fearful of spiders." Yes, we humans still have irrational fears. But were the voters rational in their voting? Ouch, only 38.85%. Maybe voters don't like to be mocked for their arachnophobia. Jennings as yet untitled is our underdog of the month. I wonder how Jennings did with the response of, "Use homophones. There's no two ways about it." Oh no, only 34.33%. I thought the homophones thing was pretty clever, but perhaps voters thought a homophone spelled correctly isn't really a misspelled word. Board Game Master Yasoan told us, "Using typoglycemia effectively, every word written here becomes easily understood." And yeah, I have to agree, it was pretty easy to read. Was it for voters though? Yes, it was. People thought it was better than 58.28% of other entries. Sumner the Pie Guy wrote, "My substandard English is an impediment to my superior intellect." And wow, that is really substandard English. But that's what TWOW does to you, isn't it? 51.81%. At least it's enough to guarantee you a spot into 1214. SpicyMan33 wrote, "Well, Carrie said we only had to misspell every word." Oh my gosh, Spicy, trying to find loopholes in my prompts, are you now? This is eerily similar to Gabe LaSalle's last place response in 12.4, when I asked everyone to try to use as many of these words as you can, to which he replied, "As many of these words as you can." What did voters think this time around? Oh my TWOW, you beat Green Tree with 60.51% by not following the rules. Kudos to you, that was definitely a spicy performance. Talbot-H6427 said, "Snakes hiss because its scary sound makes predators reconsider striking," which I thought was a clever way of misspelling all your words without looking like you're actually misspelling all your words. Do you think it could top SpicyMan33's response? Not quite, 50.48%. At least you're safe. Corby King said, Spelling reform is key to furthering easy communication amongst people. I think historically, people have tried that before and failed, but your reform actually lengthened 3 words, so how does that help? 50.92%. Wow, there are a lot of TWOWers hanging around close to 50% this time. 17th place Mike Ramsey wrote, I have a degree in linguistics from my great education. I love seeing how people misspelled one-letter words like A. Seriously, you have to get a bit creative. 50.12%. Even more 50% huddlers. XX Bombs Away XX said, goals in life are scored by compassion and count permanently. I think you use the most numerals in your words, which spell out 013, 13. Whoa, we're in TWOW 13 right now. TWOWluminati book firmed. Shoot, 42.58%. I guess voters think goals are scored by hatred and count temporarily. At this point, there's only 4 TWOWers left to place. For Jennings as yet untitled to survive, all 4 of them must rank below 34.33%. Every time I reveal a score, 1 contestant is guaranteed safe, and 1 contestant is guaranteed eliminated. So on to FryUAJ, who said, hopefully people won't make puns here. I predict original responses. I see you're joining the Mighty Midge in the pun resistance. But anyway, after your score is revealed, either you or Jennings as yet untitled will surely be eliminated, depending on who has the lowest score. Let's find out who ends up where. Goodbye to Jennings as yet untitled. You were our precious underdog, but now it's time for you to go. And FryUAJ, you dodged the bullet, but we're still not sure if you're safe yet. Next, Tak Ajnan, our frontrunner, said, an organism's intelligent quotient is directly proportional to cranial mass. I don't think that's always true though, because how would Brainless Bubble be so darn smart? Anyway, either Tak Ajnan or Steve Minecraft46 will die, all depending on whether Tak beats 38.85%. It appears Tak does beat it, with a repetitive 55.55%. Sorry Steve Minecraft46, you had a great run, even being the 4th most likely to win TWOW at one point. But you must leave now. Midnight Light got the last safe spot last time. This time, Midnight Light's response, Picasso exhibits are amazingly avant-garde, capturing life's Catch-22-esque nature beautifully, has to beat 39.21% to push the Futech hacker into elimination. Can they do it? They can! Sorry, the Futech hacker. You were amazing the previous 2 TWOWs, top 3ing twice. But your time is up. Finally, Mr. Twister, our 2-time zombie, said YouTube should pay Huangs so BFDIA 6 can be made. That's a great idea! So, it's Mr. Twister versus XX Bombs Away XX. Whoever gets the lower percentile will be eliminated. And 42.58% is the score to beat. Who's it gonna be? Mr. Twister just scraped by with 48.48%, but that means XX Bombs Away XX must sadly leave us now. You were a hub of controversiality, a true wildcard, but that wildness killed you in the end. So sad. In case you're curious, here are the results in the original format. Notice that, because the vote counts are completely meaningless now, I also included the number of voters who voted on each response. If you voted on multiple pages, your weight is spread out over all your votes, of course. As I expected, Spicy Man had the most controversial response, and Steve Minecraft46 had the least controversial response. A few other interesting things to note. Spicy Man 33 won this round. Remember how I said he was the Leonardo DiCaprio of TWOW? Well, Leonardo eventually did win an Oscar for The Revenant in 2016. And similarly, Spicy Man 33 eventually did win a round of TWOW. I guess I can predict the future. Cool. Also, Jennings as yet untitled placed last. So sad. Sumner the Pie Guy even labeled them 1 in 10,000 because of the 0.01% chance of winning in TWOW 12. Now that chance is down to 0.00%. But hold on, I called the Pizza Man the efficiency champion in TWOW 6, and they were eliminated in TWOW 8. I called Ender Dragon the most efficient in TWOW 8, and they died in TWOW 9. I called Christian the Weaver the new efficiency champion in TWOW 10, and they got eliminated in TWOW 11. So, what happened this time? I called Jennings as yet untitled the efficiency champion in TWOW 13A, and they were eliminated in the very next episode. Do my words of efficiency place curses on the TWOWers I'm describing? I mean, underdogs have survived before, but only if I don't mention them. So, I better not mention the current underdogs. Green Tree and Fryu AJ. Shut up! Sorry.
To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts.
So there's only 18 TWOWers left. They will be entering in TWOW 14. What's the 14th TWOW prompt? Talk about diversity, but you can't talk the talk without walking the walk. So your words themselves also have to be diverse. No two words of your response can have the same number of letters. So, these responses are okay, but these are not okay. And if you do include two words of the same length, I'll highlight them in bright red so the voters can see your sins. TWOWers, submit your responses, which must be 10 words or fewer, to me, Carrie KH, by June 1, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. Spicyman33, Green Tree, and Joseph Howard, you get to submit 2 responses to the prompt, and only the better one will count. And since TWOW 14 is coming, you living TWOWers can all finally customize your books. In your PM to me, you can either add a description of what you want your book to look like, or a link to an image file that I can use for your book. I will use that image from now on, unless of course it's unreasonable. Also, since you're getting a new makeover, you might want to say something to the other 12 viewers. I guess you can type in a confessional of sorts, which can be longer than 10 words, and I might mention it in the next video. Note, neither the new book appearance nor the confessional are mandatory. Okay, that's it. See you in TWOW 14A! Hi, it's time for TWOW 14A. Artwork lovingly provided by Charizard915. Before I get to the important stuff, there are 14 small announcements I have to make, including 9 apologies and 5 shoutouts. 9 apologies? How did you rack up 9 apologies? Listen, I don't even know. Anyway, announcements are boring, so I can keep the announcement time to about a minute if each announcement is, 5 seconds. Okay, here we go. 1. Sorry for abbreviating TWOW chat as that word. I didn't know it was considered a swear. Call it chow or what instead. 2. I called the creator of TWOW Fan Central her, but he's a boy. I got it wrong because both of his usernames have female names. 3. Last time, the Mighty Image's response was to be or not to be, that is the question. I said it was from Romeo and Juliet, but it's from Hamlet. Oops. 4. Hazel Cricket noticed the green region of the new results format was one contestant too high. That'll be fixed in the next episode. 5. Some people complained the new reveal format was too slow and boring. It'll be faster next time. 6. Kyle Azorko said keep TWOW simple. Don't worry, the confessionals will always be rapid fire and the new images are easy. 7. The TWOW 13 leaderboard had a bug. Sam Billinge's responses were flipped. It's supposed to be like this. 8. In TWOW 1 I eliminated Geometry-Demon So Demonic for this response, but that wasn't their legit entry. Oops. 9. M&I Tron Crusher's book color is wrong. Let's fix it. Whoosh. Onto shoutouts. 10. Alex Lion 0511 started a mini TWOW on the Discord chat and they won it. The prize was Juicy Carrots and his friendship.
11. I'm DemiPixel and I created a TWOW bot for the Discord so that any of you can play rapid mini TWOWs. Go check it out.
12. I hosted a mini TWOW with that TWOW bot and guaranteed the winner a shoutout. YJ won with this response. 13. My brother Michael created a Booksona generator. Go find out what you'd look like as a TWOWer. 14. Alex Lion 0511's drawing reached 22 upvotes on the subreddit, so it gets a shout out. These images are also cute. Finally, I am so glad that's all out of the way. On to the big stuff. So last time, I let the 18 remaining TWOWers redesign their books and say a confessional to the viewers. Let's see their new makeovers. Alex Lion 0511 used to look like this, but now looks like this. He says, I am a generic human being, how did I make it this far? Crafty7 used to look like this, but now looks like this. Crafty7's confessional is, it's so exciting to get this far. It's cool to think that in TWOW 1, 20th was a great spot to get, but now, people are getting eliminated because of it. FryUI, sorry for pronouncing your name wrong in the past, used to look like this, but now looks like a map of Vermont and New Hampshire. That's a size difference of 20 centimeters to 300 kilometers, or 1.5 million times. Hi guys! Also, stop pronouncing my name FryUAJ. That is weird. Just call me FryUI or just Fry. And I give credit to Crafty7 for showing me this awesome map. Green Tree didn't change their book appearance. But what's this? An image confessional? Joseph Howard also didn't change his book appearance, and didn't send a confessional. Mr. Twister used to look like this, but now looks like this? Sunny side up? And what's going on with this ultra long confessional? Ain't no TWOWer got time for that. Midnight Light used to look like this, but now looks like this. and they've got a very alliterative confessional. Hey guys, it's me, Midnight. I love maths, Monopoly, and Midnight the color. How about you? Mike Ramsey used to look like this, but now looks like, whoa, that's actually a pretty crazy new avatar you've got there. Very American. Anyway, Mike said, I heard some TWOWers are selling out and are being sponsored by large companies. That's just not cool. Unlike the Coolberry Free Slurpee for only $1.95 at participating 7-Eleven convenience stores, Ping Pong Cupshot's appearance barely changed. His confessional was, lol, I have no idea what I'm doing, but it's fun. Uh-oh, 11 words! Just kidding. Corby King decided to add a top hat and said, to do well in TWOW, you just have to moss. Lie in a rock, suck energy from the surrounding organisms, and contribute minimally to the good of the collective. Also helpful, submitting responses. Riley decided to add bloodstains and change the book's colors, and said, this response is very personal to me. I know there may be some people who might not like me after this. Aw, Riley, I'm sure that's not true. Next, Sam Billings used to look like this, but now looks like this. Sam said, we're so in sync, we finish each other's. Interesting, what could that mean? Sumner the Pie Guy used to look like this, but now looks like this. And his fascination with pie definitely came out in his confessional. New styles. Will this nerd's brand new look keep him in for a few more rounds? I sure hope so. Nerdiness. Pie. SpicyMan33 now looks even more spicy. And said, hey everyone, I'm SpicyMan33 and I like spicy food. Surprise, right? Anyways, if you haven't, please come join the TWOW Discord. I'm talking to you, Mr. Twister, Mike Ramsey, Joseph Howard, and Midnight Light. Tak Ajnan. As you've seen, 3 people did change their mouths, so you get that sideways 3 cat mouth. Anyway, Tak's confessional is high. Like Joseph Howard, Taplon-H6427 kept it simple and didn't change their book appearance or submit a confessional. The Mighty Mage decided to make their book look a lot like their profile picture and said, sandwiches. Wait, we're so in sync, we finish each other's sandwiches. You mean Sam Midges? Get it? But actually, here's what happened between Sam Billings and the Mighty Mage. While chowing, Sam admitted he was just one person controlling both accounts. I have to say, getting 2 accounts from a pool of 491 down to the final 18 is quite impressive. But a bunch of people on the What were thinking, having 2 accounts gives you an unfair advantage. So, one of his 2 accounts should be eliminated, and everyone else below him should move up a rank. Therefore, XXBombsAwayXX, the closest eliminated contestant, should be let back in. By the way, I'm loving the hashtags. While this line of thinking does make sense, I'm actually not going to bring XXBombsAwayXX back. Why? Read this if you want to know why. But am I gonna eliminate either Sam Billings or the Mighty Midge? Yeah, I am, so that all TWOWers still in have an equal chance. At first, I was going to compare both Sam and Midge's 12-14 performance to determine who to eliminate, but that means there would be 2 systems of elimination happening at the same time, and that's really confusing. So, I'm just going to eliminate Sam Billings and keep the Mighty Midge. By the way, this is the second response that Sam/Midge ended up not using. That was a long diversion. Where was I? Oh right, Yasoin used to look like this, but now looks like this. Yasoin said, hi everyone, thanks for helping me get this far. I'm glad you like board games too. I'm really nervous with TWOW. So much so that sometimes I take up to an hour to think of an answer. Good luck to everyone else! We're finally done with TWOW makeovers. The 14th TWOW prompt was, talk about diversity. No 2 words of your response can be the same number of letters. All of our remaining 17 TWOWers submitted a response to that prompt. So there are 20 12-14 entries. You guys should vote on how witty, hilarious, elegant, innovative, or good those responses were. Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once. This time, I've marked every word with its number of letters below it. Also, if 2 words in a response are exactly the same length, they're highlighted red. You can vote up until June 5, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. But don't vote like a shiny coward, or else you'll reflect all light, thus becoming unable to absorb the warmth others bestow upon you, and you'll be cold and lonely forever. The 3 best voted TWOWers will receive the double response prize for next time, and the 3 TWOWers with the lowest average percentiles will perish. Finally, here are the 12-14 entries. See you in 1214B. Done.
Hi, TWOW Joisie. Welcome to 1214B, artwork charmingly provided by Azriel Avenue, and generously provided by Misofella, and scrumptiously provided by Paul and MC, and respectfully provided by CK Craig Plays, and gorgeously provided by @IMinorBen, and bodaciously provided by Happy Pusheen. If I miss your 14B fan art, I'm sorry, it's hard to find them all. In the future, the best place to send me artwork is probably through the TWOW Discord. Maybe we should have a channel in the Discord for just fan art, so when it's time for the next episode, I can just scoop them out of there and plop them into the video. Some more cool TWOW images come from SpicyMan33 and AlexLion0511, who roasted the Living TWOWers, and Crafty7, who toasted the Living TWOWers. Can I use the word toast as the opposite of roast? No! Oh, I can't? Then I mean Crafty7, who was nice to the Living TWOWers. Secondly, I want to say that Michael and I are going to VidCon 2016. I mentioned this earlier, but it was at the end of the video, so not many of you may have seen it. We can do cool stuff there, like a live, in-real-life TWOW or BFDI. Moving on. So, I need to give shoutouts to ETHCOG04 TCG for winning 2 mini TWOWs in a row, and me for also winning 2 mini TWOWs in a row. Spicy This iPanda 321 for winning 6 rounds of a mini TWOW in a row, and Ben1178 for creating awesome Algecosathlon and TWOW simulators that you can check out at the link in the description. On the TWOW, aka TWOW Discord chat, there's now 696 members. That's even more people than official TWOW Season 1 contestants, which is kinda crazy. You guys are all joining TWOW Season 2, right? Back to Season 1. A lot of you complained about the book's faces being on their back covers. Well, it is true that the faces are on the backs. Let me show you why that's a good thing. When you read a book, you start on the front cover, naive and ignorant. You read through the book from page 1 to page 2763. You come out the other end, that is, the back cover, and you're so much smarter than when you entered. So, which cover actually has the most wisdom? That's right, the back cover. That's why you always see 12 books from the back, they're wiser there. One more thing, someone, I forget who, pointed out that in TWOW 10B, I said that having multiple accounts as contestants wasn't that bad, but that I'd like to discourage it.
If that's the case,
They explained.
then why did you eliminate Sam Billinge, who is doing just that?
Here's some reasons why. On to the 14th TWOW prompt, which was, talk about diversity. No 2 words of your response can have the same number of letters. Our remaining 17 TWOWers answered that prompt in so many diverse ways my head exploded. SpicyMan33, Greentree, and Joseph Howard got to submit 2 entries each, because they placed in the top 3 last time. The 3 highest placing TWOWers for this time will get the double response prize for next time, and the 3 lowest placing TWOWers will be eliminated from the show. Remember, just one of these 17 TWOWers will win the coveted Wisdom Prize that 491 people initially strived for. So, how many votes did we get? The number of voters stayed about constant at 445, and the number of votes also returned to normal at 618. Thanks for cooperating, voters. It means a lot. Just kidding, you shiny cowards somehow cast 381,675 votes this episode, and now, the running time for my vote parser jumped from under 5 seconds to over 5 minutes. So, thanks. At least 28 of you cast over 100 votes, and 1 of you cast over 100,000 votes. I'm not mentioning who you are, because you don't deserve recognition. For the love of XXBombsboyXX, get it, they're a god. Do not try to go for 1 million next time. And by the way, this comic drawn by former TWOWer Phantom Infinity perfectly describes the shiny coward epidemic. Rest in peace, Phantom Infinity. You were our first power TWOWer and didn't deserve to get eliminated over a misunderstood pun. By the way, Phantom also has a YouTube channel with cool animations. Go subscribe!
Can we finally get onto the actual TWOW 14 results? You've been talking for like 4 minutes.
Fine, Orange Me. Here we go. So just like last time, we're revealing TWOWers' scores in the order they placed last time. So, SpicyMan33 is up first. SpicyMan33 had 2 responses for this episode, but his better ranking one was varying all responses in alternating techniques, illustrating optional naming style. He's combining the TWOW 8 and 14 prompts by having the initials of the words spell out variation. What did the voters think? They think this response is better than 51.36% of other responses on average. I was expecting a bit higher, but I guess voters' minds vary from carries. Up next is Greentree, whose better response was, undiverse TWOWers lack extravagancy. Unoriginality is unexciting, unappealing, and unlawful. I like the alliteration. Or perhaps double alliteration, because you're repeating the first two letters. Voters said 57.75%. Pretty good, don't you think? Joseph Howard has had 2 top 3 performances in a row. Can he continue his streak with this magniloquent writing, alphabetically diversified, laxly jam-packs all anglicized glyphs? That's a pangram, meaning it contains every letter of the alphabet, so there's double diversity in this entry. According to voters, it deserves a score of 53.10%. Pretty good, but probably not top 3. The green region you see here is where TWOWers need to place to instantly be declared safe. Later, you'll see a red region, which is where you need to place to instantly be eliminated. Yosoan said, though same and familiar would be comfortable, diversity creates innovation. Placing above green tree will instantly ensure safety. Can Yosoan do it? Yes, so envious of that high score. You're guaranteed a spot into 12-15, but hey, not everybody can place above 50% like we see here. By the nature of the average, at least some people have to place below it. Tak Ajnan, our frontrunner, said, characteristics which make us unique, actively supporting a worldwide harmony. I hate to attack you, but that's not a complete sentence. Do the voters care about that though? It looks like they don't. With a comfortable score of 53.53%, Tak becomes the 5th person in a row to place above 50%. The Muddy Midge, whose nickname was the leader of the pun resistance, but should now be separated twin, we cry every Tim, said, intellectual diversity should come above the desires of identity politicians. According to voters, it deserves a score of ouch, 46.95%. The first sub-50 score. In other news, Tak Ajnan ninja'd their way into the top 15. Consistency Master Crafty7 said, if all books contain matching colors, TWOW competition happens uninterestingly. That's rich, coming from someone who went from an orange and blue book to a blue and blue book. I'm just kidding, of course. Just barely above 50% for the Craftinator. Up next is Riley, whose strawberry jam stains are quite sloppy indeed. She said, this gender transition provided opportunities for me, promoting transgenders. Riley wanted you guys to know that she meant to add the word internationally at the end of this response, but unfortunately, I can't give a boost because this is what was sent. Oh no, 43.73%. That might or might not be enough to survive. In other news, SpicyMan33 lives on another day. Sumner the Pie Guy said, multiple people from different backgrounds can agree to peacefully coexist. That is true, Pie Guy. Do you think pie lovers and TWOW lovers can coexist? Anyway, you get Now it's time for 1214B Part 2, and I promise no other 12 videos will be so long they need 2 parts. Okay, so Paul and MC's 1214B intro card got super compressed for whatever reason, so here it is in high res. And also, here's a bunch of other cool 1214B images created by viewers. You guys are the best! Anyway, where were we? Oh right, we need to find out how well Sumner the Pie Guy did. But we can't until the breathtaking fan art is done. Okay, so here we go. Sumner the Pie Guy received a score of 57.34%, and you're safe. Up next is Midnight Light, who said, diversity can be achieved quite easily. Just inspire nationwide immigration. If only it were that simple. Anyway, Midnight, you get a score of 49.47%. Will that ensure safety? You'll have to keep watching to find out. Quirby King said, diversity, it's a notable constituent of every culturally relevant civilization. I do agree, Quirby, but is wisdom a constituent of your response? Let's see if the voters think so. 55.24%. That means you are safe. Up next is TowPwnH6427, whose digits of their name might or might not spell out carry. I dunno, they were pretty vague about it in the TWOW chat. Tao said, historically speaking, diversity originated amongst the divers in diversity. I get it, diversity, but the pun resistance would like to have a word with you. The voters give it a score of 51.62%. Wow, a lot of people are scoring above 50%. The average has to be about 50%, so where are all the people bringing it back down? 13th up is Mike Ramsey, whose avatar is actually a book version of Evel Knievel, which I didn't notice last time. That makes sense because of the whole Daredevil thing. Anyway, Mike said, I am one with every living diverse, separate multiform individual, which you might have noticed has word lengths counting up from 1 to 10. That's quite impressive, but did the voters also think so? %52.72%. I honestly did expect your response to place a bit higher. Next, we've got Ping Pong Cupshot, who said, if you don't treat people equally, everyone transforms hysterically Radamanthin. That was actually the first time I've ever come across the word Radamanthin. But please don't call me illiterate. Your words got longer just like Mike Ramsey, but they skipped a few numbers. Anyway, you get 47.42%. And now, we reach Sudden Death Zone. Every time a new score is revealed, one TWOWer will be guaranteed safe, and another will be guaranteed eliminated. Riley, in order for you to survive, all 3 of the remaining TWOWers must place below you. So you'd better pay close attention to Alex0511's response, which was, I'm a straight boy, be scared from these masculine chromosomes. Poor Alex, you were the only one to make the mistake of having 2 words be the same length. Someone pointed out that maybe I'm should be 3 letters because of the apostrophe, but even then, you'd still have an overlap because boy is also 3 letters. So did voters give you enough pity points to place you above Riley's 43.73%? Or will you be eliminated? Here's the moment of truth. Oh no, the Lion King has fallen, with the lowest score seen by TWOWlacious eyes since TWOW5. TWOW5, I tell you! AlexLion0511, you were a wonderful member of the TWOW community, producing some of the first ever mini-TWOWs on the TWOW Discord, and creating the first ever TWOW YouTube poop. Despite being a zombie, you'll surely be missed. In other news, PPCS is safe. Now, it's time for Mr. Twister to shine sunnily. Either the 2-time zombie or the dog slicer will leave TWOW, depending on whether or not Mr. Twister's response, alone I am single colored, altogether everyone's the rainbows, can beat Riley's score of 43.73%. It's a good analogy for diversity. What did the voters think? %55.78%. Goodbye, Riley. I always loved your enthusiasm in your PMs to me, so it's so sad to see you go. I think people voted you down because you had fewer than 10 words, not because you talked about transgenders. And by the way, even if Spicy Man doesn't, I care about your TWOW 8 win. Automobiles are the best, and good luck in all your future endeavors. Finally, FryUI is our last TWOWer to step onto the podium. The final battle is FryUI versus the Mighty Midge. Who will survive? The efficiency champion or the double account scandal survivor? It sure would suck to have both accounts eliminated in essentially the same episode. Anyway, it all comes down to whether FryUI's response, in swimming pools, most persons are divers, can beat 46.95%. This is what the voters had to say. Ouch, FryUI gets 36.26% and is eliminated. I guess the efficiency curse really got to you after all. FryUI, you were the only TWOWer to get so big, you entered the geographical realm, spanning whole entire states. And if it is true that you aren't a native English speaker, you made it amazingly far despite those difficulties. You may have been revived from murders in the past, but this time is final. And also, your lower score actually pushes Riley up to 15th, so let's fix that.
dead. I didn't get returned to the library on time, and now I'm dead. Ugh. Rest in peace, Alex Lion 0511, 2015 to 2016. Ah!
That music was composed by Demipixel, and it's a variation of Childhood Memories of Winter that he calls Cry Song. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. Data time, but let's make it quick. Interestingly, 1214 is where we narrowed the TWOW crowd to just 14 people. What a cool coinky-dink. Here's the results in the traditional format. Yasoan is the first TWOWer ever to win 3 times. That's pretty cool. Now, Sumner the Pie Guy is the third to last TWOWer to finally get a prize. At this point, only Corby King and the Mighty Midge still haven't. Also, SpicyMan33's responses scored within 0.01% of each other. What are the chances of that? On another note, Greentree and SpicyMan33 placed a bet where whoever scored lower had to say this line. We all know how that turned out, so without further ado...
Hello, I'm SpicyMan33. I'm a poopy face, and Greentree is superior to me. Besides the fact I've placed above him in 11 episodes.
These are the word lengths used by each TWOWer, sorted by average score. Also, average word length was shorter near the beginning of responses and got longer towards the end of responses. That's TWOWers realizing they're running out of word lengths they can still use, and have to try using longer words instead. The normal distribution curves are evolving. No one pointed this out, but I should have used T distributions instead of normal ones, because I don't know the true, not sample, standard deviation. But at a sample size of 14, they're pretty much the same thing, and I'm too lazy to fix it. The probabilities for who will win also changed a bit, but Tak Ajnan, as always, is still at the top. Also, how is Greentree still at the bottom, despite getting 2 top 3 responses in a row? Oh wait, this model is based off of average percentiles, so a top 3 performance of 57% is dwarfed in comparison to a top 10 performance of 80% in TWOW 1. That kinda irks me, because I want all episodes to have about the same weight in this prediction. How's this? I'll use TWOWer's normalized ranks, which always range from 0% to 100%, to predict how well they'll do. This will give scores in mid-game and endgame just as much weight as the beginning. When we do that, here's how the graphs change. Every TWOWer who died has a long I sound in their name. Riley, Alex Lion 0511, and Fry UI. There's 5 living TWOWers who are also on that list, and they need to watch out. Also, 2 of the 3 TWOWers who died are zombies. Now, Mr. Tweezler is the only living zombie left. The winning percentile is dropping further than I ever expected it to. Oh well.
Can we get to the 15th TWOW prompt already?
Okay, Orange Me, let's do it, and jump right into 1215. The 15th TWOW prompt is, create an advertisement for a restaurant in a world where eating is considered obscene. This one is courtesy of my brother, Fernozzle. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel also. So 14 remaining TWOWers, you know the drill. Answer that prompt in 10 words or fewer, and send it to me, KarryKH, via YouTube PM by June 14, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. Also, tomorrow is TWOW's 6-month birthday, so don't forget to celebrate by eating... what do TWOWers eat? Oh right, onions and family members. Gross. Anyway, Yasoan, Greentree, and Sumner the Pie Guy, you get to submit 2 responses to the prompt, and only the better one will count. Voters, you'll get to vote on those entries anonymously in 1215A by...
Hello, I'm your friendly local moderator Tantasa, and I'm here to tell you about TWOW Central. TWOW Central is the unofficial official TWOW Discord. Hang out with friends, foes, and living TWOWers, as long as those TWOWers are not Joseph Howard. Why have you forsaken? We have discussion rooms about the place TWOW, whole rooms devoted to spam and rules. Please read these. Thank you. And if you were in TWOW once, we can give you a special flair. Whoa, no, what? Wow. And sometimes even Carrie comes on, and then everywhere gets spammed, and my goodness, is that ever fun. 12 Central. It's a place. It's cool. You should be there too. Especially you, Joseph. Please, what did we do to you? We don't bite. Honest.
That advertisement was made by Tantosaur, a TWOWer who plays 266. And yeah, link for 12 Central is in the description. So anyway, on to 1215A, which Sumner the Pie Guy somehow got excited over because it's the only composite odd teenage number. If you want to skip the fan art, apologies, confessionals, and announcements, skip to 634. I got a lot of fan intro cards for this episode, so I'm showing them 4 at a time. Aren't they lovely? By the way, there are also a few other fan art images that don't specifically say 1215A on them. For example, here are some cool pictures by Melody Stars XD, Pyromaniac, former TWOWer Red Adam A Anything Ever, and a few others. Sorry if I didn't include your fan art. At this point, it's hard for me to keep track of it all. TED664 made this jingle called TWOW Theme. Pretty cool. Also, Piggin Animation and LPM 2003 made actual TWOW intro animations. Here's Piggin Animations. And here's LPM 2003's. And perhaps you forgot who the living TWOWers are and need a refresher. John Dubik's got you covered with a video displaying all 14 of the remaining eligible contestants. Also, remember how June 12, 2016 was TWOW's 6-month anniversary? Well, Sumner the Pie Guy, Spicyman33, Michael, and I actually did eat onions. Yay TWOW! Okay, I have a few apologies.
That's typical of you.
Go away! In the elimination animation last time, I forgot to include Mr. Twister on the pillar. Let's just say that that's because he's the sun, and I needed that day to be cloudy. Also, a handful of books appear to be different sizes. You know what, let's just fix that all at once. Poof. Second, for some reason, I forgot to show the entire third page of 1214 results. So here are the first 2 pages, and here's the third. Now you can revel in the data's completeness. It's time for book appearance changes and confessionals. I promised Kyle Lazorko this portion would be quick, so let's go at hyperspeed by not reading aloud any confessional longer than 10 words. Crafty7 changed their mouth and said this. Greentree kept his book the same, thanks for lightening my workload, and said hi, I'm. Wait, what? Joseph Howard finally customized his book. And is now being mobbed by the Discord people into joining under peer pressure. Mr. Twister had an even more unwieldy confessional. This is absolutely unacceptable. Midnight Light added a crescent moon and said this. Mike Ramsey said this. Ping Pong Cup Shots said this. Oh my TWOW. Oh my Riley. They are really chasing after you, Joseph, aren't they? Corby King did neither. Sumner the Pie Guy added small elements as a tribute to each of the TWOWers who fell in 1214, and said, Barry Scott, what's going on with these short confessionals? Spicyman33 said, bang and. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Tak Ajnan did neither. Taupon H6427 changed their book to this, and said, The Confessional. By the way, I read your complaints about the current 1215 prompt not being kid-friendly, and I can see where you're coming from, but it's because my brother recommended it, and I said to keep it PG, so hopefully that'll be enough. And it probably won't happen again. The Mighty Mage said, is gone. Okay, I got it figured out. Hey Autocats, are you there? I think these 5 living TWOWers are plagiarizing your work of literature and should thus be eliminated from TWOW. Just kidding, of course.
To be honest, I think they're obsessed with your response. They need help.
Finally, Yosoen did neither, which means that yes, you 5 Barry Scott fanatics, the confessionals are gone. By the way, that response was actually AutoCat's revision over a previous original response that was even better, but you'll never know what it was. Hoi hoi! Mr. Twister wanted me to tell you that there's now a TWOW Steam group. Link is in the description. Okay, we can finally get onto the 15th TWOW prompt, which was, create an advertisement for a restaurant in a world where eating is considered obscene. All 14 living TWOWers submitted an entry, and 3 of them got to submit 2 entries. Out of the 14 contestants still in, the 2 that performed the worst will be eliminated. And since I don't want more people getting prizes than being eliminated, only the top 2 TWOWers this time will receive the double response prize for next time. Now, it's time for you viewers to cast your precious ballots.
Remember, you viewers can vote whether you're a contestant or not by commenting on this video. So how do you vote? Pause the video at a random spot in the green rectangle. Type the keyword you see in the upper right, space. Rank the entries from best to worst using these letters. Surround it with square brackets. Done. You can comment other stuff too, and you can vote more than once.
You guys can vote up until June 18, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. And Shiny Cowards, remember, don't try to go for 1 million. You know how YouTube gives you a gold play button for getting 1 million subscribers? Well, if you send me 1 million votes, I'll give you a black duct tape roll, so you can wrap yourself with it, and then you won't be so shiny anymore. I'm gonna do things a bit differently this time. First of all, the voting screen is going to be 4 times slower, so it's less blurry and easier to vote on. I gotta remind you, don't look up what other people voted for before you cast your own vote. You need to trust yourself when ranking these entries. Voting on just 1 or 2 entries puts everyone else at around 6th place. Last time, so many of you did that a lot of entries got a 6th place spike, so don't do that again. Second, I got some cool audio clips from Riley and Tantasaur. Since the voting screen is now 4 minutes long, I thought I might as well play those recordings as the voting pages fly by. Also, a lot more of you wanted to submit voice recordings of yourself voicing TWOW lines. Okay, so I couldn't quite get around to that this time, but if any of you send recordings of you saying these lines to me in the fan art channel on the TWOW Central Discord chat, there's a chance I might actually use it, but please don't spam me. So, without further delay, or anything left to say, Riley, if you may, please take it away.
Hi there, I'm Riley, TWOW 8 round winner and TWOW failure. Do you want decent, subpar food at low, criminally insane prices? Well, have no fear, because Riley's Doggy Diner is the one stop for all your dining needs. How about you have some of our incredible dishes, such as Mystery Meat Surprise, Schnauzer Spaghetti and Meatballs, and Poodle Pasta. All of our meals come straight from the Animal Shelter farm, and it comes straight to your plate. Come over now. We're right next to the mental asylum.
And now, a dramatic reading of Spicy Man 33's Ode to Riley. Warning: the following story contains references to blood and animal violence. Oh my gosh, is that the real Riley? The one who did the dog slicing one? Oh, she left. Oh. Yo. Oh my gosh, Riley! What? I am your biggest fan. OMG, hello, fan. What, Riley? Where? Tanta, she's right there. Hee. Go sell yourself on eBay. I will never wash my face again. I will never touch anybody again. I was only 16 years old. I loved Riley so much. I had all her TWOW memorabilia and all her episodes recorded. I slice dogs every night before bed, thanking her for the life I've been given. Riley is love, I say. Riley is life. Carey hears me, and he calls me a shiny coward. I knew he was just jealous of my devotion to Riley. I called him a what. He threw books at me, told me to get eliminated. I'm crying now, and my face hurts. I lay in bed, and it's really cold. Suddenly, I hear distant sounds of barking. I see something in the distance. It's Riley. I'm so happy. She whispers in my ear, "You can cut up dogs and bathe in their blood." I never said that. She grabs the dog with her powerful TWOW hands and puts it over me. What? No, I demand proof. I'm ready. I sit under the dog for Riley. She slices its flesh. There's so much blood, but I do it for Riley. Oh gosh, this is kind of disturbing. I start to choke on the blood. As my eyes start to water, I still sit under the dog. OMG, Spicy, no! I want to please Riley. You don't need to! She roars a subpar roar as she slices the dog with her knife. Carey walks in. Oh my goodness, this is not okay. Riley looks him straight in the eye and says, "You can cut up dogs and bathe in their blood." Riley leaves through the window. Riley is love. Riley is life. This is not what happened.
See you in 1215B, when 2 more succulent twowers will face the chopping block, and we get one step closer to finally awarding one player their well-deserved wisdom. Hey guys again. This is becoming the TWOW episode that never ends, but I just remembered 2 things I forgot to mention, and I don't feel like animating them. 1, it looks like Midnight Light is the final female TWOW contestant, and Tabcone H6427 is the last TWOW contestant that was also in Baguette. So, good luck to you two. 2, I'm not going to be looking at the fan art on the Discord chat anymore, because it's too cumbersome. Instead, submit all TWOW fan art to the TWOW fan art subreddit, there's a link in the description. And I'll say, if a post gets a decent number of upvotes, then it'll probably be in the next episode. Anyway, see you in the next chapter of the story of TWOW. Hey TWOWlings, it's time for TWOW. Wait, what episode number is it? I'll let official Silly Poo's contraption tell us. That was so impressive, official Silly Poo. I like how you use some pieces twice, like the ping pong balls next to the efficient fry UI. Wait, ping pong ball? Cup? Ping pong cup shots, I think someone is trying to summon you! Also, this mesmerizing background music is called Skyline, and it's by Jujumus. I give it an A+. So, the 15th TWOW prompt was, create an advertisement for a restaurant in a world where eating is considered obscene. Everyone agrees that this prompt would have been better if I used the word taboo instead of obscene, because the emphasis was supposed to be on arbitrary societal norms. Oh well, we can always try the fixed version of this prompt in a future season. Back to the present. Our 14 living TWOWers submitted 17 responses to that prompt. But before we get to that, it's time for some rambling by your friendly local moderator, Tantasar.
I've got some good news. 2 bits of news, I'll be very quick. First of all, we have Joseph Howard on the Discord now. That's good, stop bugging him about it. 2, we have 2 subreddits now. We have r/10 words of wisdom and we have r/12 fanart. r/10 words of wisdom is for general discussion, r/12 fanart is for 12 fanart. That's the thing Carrie is going to be looking at to pick stuff for the title cards and other art that you're about to see. I'll let you get to them now. Bye!
Now it's time for 1215B fan art. I just collected all the images off of the TWOW fanart subreddit. If I didn't get your image, sorry, I'm human and I make mistakes too. I still think your fanart is great though. Here's this cool TWOW periodic table by former TWOWer Milo Jacquet. Milo was a TWOWer who placed 83rd and did better than 83% of other TWOWers, and is the only TWOWer with that amazing property. I also want to say, Michael and I met Sumner the Pie Guy and SpicyMan33 a few days ago at what I like to call TWOWCon 2016. That was super fun. Next, Mike Ramsey was upset at Kyle Lazorko for making me not read his 1215 confessional out loud. Since so many living TWOWers place such a heavy emphasis on their confessionals, I guess I'd better read them. Confessional haters can just skip ahead anyway. Crafty7 said, "Oh no, Riley was a good friend of mine and she got eliminated. Also, my alphabet neighbors, AlexLion0511 and FryUI, the people next to me when we were ranked alphabetically, were also eliminated. 14B was a sad episode." Mr. Twister's confessional was part of the B-movie script, which I'm not going to read. Midnight Light said, "I'm so sad Riley's gone. She was one of my favorite TWOWers. Anyway, I can't believe I'm in the final 14. Good luck to everyone. I hope you like my addition to my book." Midnight. Mike Ramsey said, "This is a diss track. Give me a beat, Carrie. Yo, Midnight Light, I'm calling you out. Something smells fishy just like a trout. I think that you are Jomatalk, and I will send you down the block. We both used to be turquoise and green, but I'll be the last one on the scene. What you got, boy? What you got? Straight out of Dream Island, end it with a dot." Sorry if that's a reference for something, I don't really know anything. Ping Pong Cup Shots said, "Joseph Howard, can you please go on the Discord chat at some point? You're the only person left. It's either you join or you get eliminated because we're all sick and tired of this. Thanks." As you know, Joseph Howard actually did join the Discord, so now you've got all living TWOWers on there. Hooray! I guess your next target is the Futech hacker. Actually no, don't target people. So that's it for the confessional reading. Now, we gotta get to the 1215 results. How many votes did we get? It's a long story, but what happened first was I noticed that the latest 12 video got more comments in 2 days than the first episode of BFDI in 6.5 years.
Carrie, I think it's time to bring in the black duct tape.
Not so fast, TRLonYT. We don't know if they hit 1 million yet. Then, I checked all my non-spam comments and counted about 20,000 votes. Afterward, I checked my spam comments, since often, legitimate votes get sent there unfairly. But I guess YouTube had a bug under all the stress of thousands of comments because it showed me no spam comments. I was super upset because, due to Shiny Cowards casting thousands of comments to break YouTube's comment section system, I couldn't count votes cast by authentic voters who just so happened to also get placed in spam, which is not okay. Then, Michael wrote a program that collects the YouTube comments with the YouTube API, which is 1 quadrillion times more efficient. And with that, I was able to collect all the legitimate votes. So how many were there? 490 voters cast 784,649 votes. By the way, this crowd of voices you keep hearing is these people, though some of them weren't so cooperative.
And I'm not saying any of the contestants' name because you're all big poopies. How's that feel?
Some of you might be thinking, the vote count has to be more than 1 million, since there were rumors that some people individually cast several million votes. Well, I think the YouTube API is somehow shortening ultra-long comments, so that no one user can cast millions of votes, and we end up with only 784,000 of them. But you know what? This isn't a joke anymore. Now that you Shiny Cowards actually almost endangered other legit voters' votes, I officially declare war on you. From now on, only the first 10 votes you cast will count. Cast any more, and I just won't accept them. So it's pointless to try. Shiny cowards aside, which TWOWer answered the prompt, create an advertisement for a restaurant in a world where eating is considered obscene, the best? Remember, the top 2 will get the double response prize for next time, and the bottom 2 will die. Some of you thought that 3 people should be eliminated instead of 2, but I'm only eliminating 2 so that I can ease smoothly into the final 10. Makes sense? Okay, just like the last 2 times, we'll reveal how each living TWOWer did in the order they placed last time. So, Yosoan is up first. 3-time Victor Yosoan submitted 2 responses, but the better scoring one was Hidden off Main Street, Enjoy Discreet, Salad or Meat, Eat Bittersweet. This rhyming beat is outstandingly neat. It keeps me on my feet and on the edge of my seat. Voters don't cheat, and they think it should beat 54% of other greets. Some would put that on your spreadsheet.
In the corner wearing a straight jacket, it's the cannibalistic god.
By the way, former TWOWer Dancing FB18 is the one doing the WrestleMania-style intros, but unfortunately, I couldn't use them all because of time and circumstances. Green Tree advertises restaurant by saying, think tube feeding's getting boring? Well, our food is worth exploring. More rhyming, I'm sensing a pattern.
Let's see what the voters have to say.
Whoa, you guys came out of nowhere. Just a smidge below 50%, neither good nor bad. Up next is
Sumner the Pie Guy,
who said his own name.
Sumner the Pie Guy.
His better scoring response was, tantalize your salivary glands and tongues at our sleazy restaurant. Well, you're quite honest, I'll give you that.
Let's see what the voters have to say.
Oh my gosh, are you guys going to say that every time?
Yes.
Whatever. 42.99%. A little on the low end. We're not sure if that's enough to survive just yet, we'll find out later. In other news, Yosoan nudged his way into the final 12. Fourth up is... wait, I forgot how to pronounce this TWOWer's name. Can you guys help me? Thanks! And he says, oh my gosh, I forgot how to read. Can you help me out, Riley? You dog god, mutt nut, pug mugger, tail wagger bagger, fetch player slayer, retriever cleaver, terrier barrier, and Rottweiler exiler?
Try our $5 0-foot-long sandwich. It's 0 calories.
Wow, the value of that sandwich is like infinity dollars per inch. 58.84%, which is a solid score ensuring you safety.
In the corner of their top hat, it's a level-headed underdog, Corby King,
whose restaurant ad was, well, I still don't know how to read, so let's have Tantasar read it.
Tattoos and piercings too expensive? Come to Parental Disappointment Pizzeria.
If your parents are disappointed in you eating pizza, they shouldn't be your parents.
Let's see what the voters have to say.
49.36%, ever so slightly below average unfortunately. Are the parents being disappointed or the viewers? Now we've got frontrunner who said,
Society standards shouldn't stop someone from succumbing to starving stomachs.
a lot of alliteration with S here, which is pretty page flippin' cool.
Let's see what the voters have to say.
51.57%. Again, I was expecting a bit higher for this one. Oh well.
In the legendary quest corner, it's the polarizer, Joseph Howard.
His restaurant was called
Every Flavor Gum Shop. All the taste, none of the shame.
marking the first time a trademark symbol has ever found its way into a TWOW response.
Let's see what the voters have to say.
55.23%, which means you survive for another day.
In the American corner, it's the daredevil baby, Mike Ramsey.
Who said,
Eat at Marks. Don't let the government control your taste buds.
are you talking about Marx like Karl Marx? I guess that would make sense with the whole government thing.
Let's see what the voters have to say. Let's see what the voters have to say. Let's see what the voters have to say.
I think we've heard enough of that now. 51.10%, meaning he is safe. Up next is who I have to apologize to for calling him TWOW. I won't be doing that again.
Now open. Super Spicy Sub Shop. Feed your wild side.
Just like Tact, you alliterated using the letter S. This earned you a score of 45.36%, a tad low, so you might or might not be safe. On the other hand, underdog Corby King is guaranteed a spot into TWOW 16.
In the corner that's on fire, but he doesn't really seem that concerned with it. It's Leonardo DiCaprio of TWOW. Spicy-Man 33.
Who said,
Come down to Riley's. You'll have a doggone good time.
which is appropriately read aloud by Riley herself.
Oh, and actually, it's Riley's Doggy Diner. Get it right, please. I have a business here.
Don't worry, Riley, it's only because of the restrictive word count. But Spicy Man, seriously, a pun? SMH at SMH. Shaking my head at Spicy Man's hastiness.
Did Spicy Man 33's response have enough spice? Let's find out.
A score of 50.72% shows that you're neither impressing nor disappointing the voters. Next, we've got the tennis ball holding Crafty 8. I mean Crafty 6. Oops, I mean Crafty 2763. You know what? You line recorders need to do this one for me.
Crafty 7.
Nighttime cafe. Nobody's seeing you eat shark in the dark.
More rhyming. Rhyming is the new TWOW trend now, isn't it? First budget cuts, then Trump, then puns, then this. Voters said 54.91%. That's actually a really good score for this late in the game. Hey, I hope you're feeling well, and remember that we TWOWers will always have your back. In your 1215 response, you said,
Societal norms, fear of judgment, forget those and come eat.
What did voters think of this liberating restaurant? 50.61%, and you have earned a spot into the final 12. Once again, we've reached sudden death zone. Every time I reveal a score, one TWOWer will instantly be declared safe, and another will instantly be eliminated.
In the therapist's office trying to get over their crippling addiction to boosts, it's the Boostaholic. Ping pong cups.
And it's him versus
Sumner the Pie Guy.
Only one of the two of them can survive, and it all depends on whether Papux, that's my new favorite nickname, beats 42.99%. So far, we've seen more scores above 50% than below, so really anything could happen. Papux, your advertisement.
Tired of vitamin injections? Try our range of food complexions.
Also had rhyming. It really is a trend now. Voters gave it a percentile of 52.33%. Goodbye, Sumner the Pie Guy. You were a TWOW fan favorite, and your spreadsheet was an amazing TWOW creation that I often relied on for crucial TWOW information. I'm not sure why I'm using past tense, because you will continue to be a TWOW fan favorite. You were the first TWOWer I met solely because of TWOW.
Beating Spicy Man 33 by mere seconds.
And that was a super cool experience. You will never be forgotten. Finally,
in the corner setting up a totalitarian government where puns are outlawed, it's the leader of the pun resistance, the Mighty Midge.
TWOW 14 Bullet Dodger the Mighty Midge had this to say for his restaurant.
Lawyer required. We're being sued because stewed food is rude.
That's our fifth rhymer, but I do have to say that was a clever take on the obscene restaurant prompt. Either the Mighty Midge or Taupon H6427 will be leaving us shortly, which means that the MST Alliance will be losing a second member regardless. Did the Midge who is mighty beat 45.36% or not? Let's find out. (51.49%). Goodbye, Taupon H6427. It pains me to see the last of the baguetters be killed off like this. Also, I'm sorry you had to be eliminated on a prompt you didn't like. How unfortunate. Thank you so much for sticking with me for so long. From the 2012 days of Baguette to the 2016 days of TWOW and onward. And despite placing 13th overall in TWOW, I hope nothing but good luck upon you and your journey into the future. Also, I like your ambiguous TWOW Central profile pic. Statistics time, I suppose? Just so I don't forget this time, here are all 3 pages of the official results. Mr. Twister earned his second round victory, making him the 3rd TWOWer to ever do so. Congrats, MT, but your blatant scam for customers' money rightfully earned the most controversial award, while sleaziness was the least controversial. That's not a sentence you hear every day. Here's the simulation-based TWOW predictions. A lot changed this time, with SpicyMan33 falling 4 ranks and Joseph Howard taking the new number 2 spot. Also, both eliminated contestants were efficiency champions in one way or another, so the efficiency curse actually is pretty effective.
Carrie, are you happy?
Hey Animation Created, don't act like this is my fault. It's not like I wanted this to happen. So I'd better not say who the current efficiency champions are.
No, seriously though, you better not say it this time.
Okay, you're right. Corby King.
Flippin'!
Interesting phenomenon. For the first time ever, all double responses were in the elimination zone. Maybe TWOWers were just too pooped to make good responses 2 times in a row. Also, the range between first and last was a tiny 16.93%. That is mouthwateringly tiny. So yeah, because of that microscopic range, that resulted in some nerds' 2 responses, which honestly weren't that bad, to take the bottom 2 spots. It's the first time that's happened, so you know what, SNTPG? It's good to go out with a bang. Another thing, TauponH6427, I know your username has nothing to do with the mathematical constant tau, but I still think it's a cool coincidence that the TWOWers that sound like they have pi and tau in their name went out at the same time. It's mathematically symmetrical, kinda. M now covers 25% of all living contestants. I think that's the highest proportion any letter has ever had in the TWOW community. Green Tree, you're the last living TWOW god. That means TWOW has gone from being polytheistic to monotheistic. Wow! Michael wanted me to tell you that his TWOW book generator at h1.net/book now lets you create a blank book image. To summarize, here's who's still in and who's eliminated. If you're eliminated, you won't be able to send me any more responses for upcoming TWOW Season 1 prompts. So you Elite Dozen TWOWers, are you ready to participate in TWOW 16? This prompt will honestly flip your brain inside out, it's so cool. So far, TWOW responses have kind of been sitting in their own bubbles. They don't really interact with each other, but that all changes with the 16th TWOW prompt, which is, simulate an argument between Yellow and Orange Carrie over who is smarter.
Does that seriously even need an argument? It's obviously me.
I need you to leave right now because I gotta explain. What's going on is Yellow Carrie and Orange Carrie are arguing over who's more intelligent. So usually, your responses show up on a voting screen that looks like this, right? Well, this time, your responses will fill these voice bubbles in this comic strip of the argument. Because it's all randomized, you TWOWers won't know which voice bubble your response will end up in, and you won't even know which side you're speaking for. Regardless, your goal is to come up with a clever comeback to whatever was said before. For example, an acceptable TWOW 16 response might be, seriously, you only use long words to sound artificially smart. If this response just so happens to follow a response like, utilizing quantum mechanics, an observer can deduce, you're unquestionably incoherent, then that response is spot on, and the voters will rank it really well. However, if the response follows a response like, if you complain about wordiness, you're avoiding directly refuting me, then that response just got demolished, and voters will rank it pretty poorly. Remember, since the voting screen changes a lot, your response will be paired against a different set of surrounding responses every frame. So you gotta be able to counterattack against all types of previous responses. Voters, you'll be reading the whole set of 10 responses as a continuous conversation. And if you read one line and you're like, dang, orange guy nailed it on the head, yellow guy just got pulverized, then you should rank that line high, and the previous line low. Off-topic and nonsensical responses should also get voted low. This is really cool, because once the data's in, not only can I see who did the best and worst, I can also see what the best pairings are, and create cool webs of best responses, and oh my TWOW, it's just gonna be so datalicious. You might have noticed that the first line has no previous response to respond to, but it does get to set the topic of the argument, sort of. So I'd say every spot, A through J, has its own advantages and disadvantages. So yes, you 12 TWOWers, get to work on arguing while you are more intelligent than your opponents. This is the first time your fellow TWOWers' responses directly affect how well you'll do. So, you gotta be good at predicting what they'll say. You can submit your responses up until July 2, 2016 at 10 PM UTC. And Mr. Twister and Joseph Howard, of course, you two get to submit 2 responses and only the better scoring one will count. I forgot to say, living TWOWers can still include confessionals and book appearance changes in their PMs to me. In addition, due to requests from others, I'd like to ask the living TWOWers to rank their favorite TWOW prompts 1 to 15 in their YouTube PM as well, so we can do a TWOW blast from the past in TWOW 17. Again, none of this is required besides the response itself. This is the prompt that will determine the glorified final 10, so things are getting intense. See you all in TWOW 16A, when the voters get to decide the fates of the remaining TWOWers.